Airplanes are supposed to be safe, predictable places, spaces where hundreds of strangers trust the people around them to act with basic decency. But sometimes, the most shocking cruelty doesn't come from turbulence, or mechanical problems, or emergencies. It comes from another passenger. Today's story is about a little black girl clutching her teddy bear, a violent outburst that no child should ever endure, and the mother who rose in a moment of unimaginable fear to defend her daughter. It's a story about racism, anger, courage, and the moment a plane full of silent bystanders finally found their voices. The flight from Miami to Chicago was nearly full. The air buzzed with the sound of rolling suitcases, flight attendants greeting passengers, seatbelts clicking into place. In seat 17A, by the window, sat 6-year-old Amara Johnson, a tiny girl with big brown eyes and her favorite stuffed bear, Cinnamon, tucked under her chin. Her short curls were tied with pink ribbons. She looked nervous, but brave, the kind of brave kids pretend to be when they don't want adults to worry. Beside her in 17B sat her mother, Lauren Johnson, a composed woman in a crimson business suit, fresh from a conference. She had the kind of presence that felt both warm and commanding, but even the strongest mother looks softer when she's soothing her child. Lauren brushed a curl from Amara's forehead. "Lauren, you okay, baby?" "Amara, yeah, planes just make my tummy weird." Lauren smiled gently. "Lauren, hug Cinnamon. He's flown more miles than both of us." Amara squeezed the bear tightly. Across the aisle, in seat 17C, sat Deborah Whitman, a woman in her mid-50s, with a sharp jawline, flawless hair, and an expression that suggested the world constantly inconvenienced her. She wore a tailored cream jacket and a scowl that had already settled in. The moment Lauren and Amara sat down, Deborah's eyes narrowed, as if offended by their mere presence. Lauren noticed but ignored it. She was used to looks like that, but she had no idea just how far this woman's hostility would go. As boarding wrapped up, Deborah pressed her call button before the plane even left the gate. Deborah, a young flight attendant named Elise, approached with a professional smile. "Elise, ma'am, how can I help you?" Deborah pointed at Amara, a literal, pointed finger less than a foot from the child's face. "Deborah, she keeps kicking my seat." Lauren looked stunned. "Lauren, she hasn't moved her legs. She's been holding her teddy the whole time." Deborah didn't break eye contact with Elise. "Deborah, I'd like to move. I can't sit next to this." The emphasis wasn't subtle. Passengers nearby shifted uncomfortably. Elise hesitated, choosing her words carefully. "Elise, ma'am, the flight is full. There are no open seats." Deborah scoffed loudly. "Deborah, of course, figures." She muttered something under her breath, something low, something ugly. Lauren heard it. She clenched her jaw but kept her composure. She leaned slightly toward Deborah. "Lauren, my daughter hasn't touched you. Please stop speaking to her like that." Deborah gave a tight smile, the kind of smile predators wear right before they strike. "Deborah, oh, don't worry. I'm sure we'll have other issues before this flight is over." Lauren didn't respond. Not yet. 30 minutes into the flight, the plane hit a patch of turbulence. Not severe, but enough to make people grip their armrests. Amara stiffened. "Amara, mommy." "Lauren, I'm right here, baby. Just hold my hand." The plane jolted again. Amara's small body tensed, and her foot tapped the metal seat support in front of her. Not Deborah's seat, not even close, just the shared floor bar under their row. But Deborah whipped around like she'd been struck. Deborah snapping. "Control your child." Lauren inhaled sharply. "Lauren, she didn't touch you. It's just turbulence." Deborah glared at Amara, a glare no adult should ever direct at a child. "Deborah, she's doing it on purpose." Amara's eyes filled with tears. Lauren, voice low, firm. "That's enough." Deborah folded her arms, seething. Passengers whispered. No one intervened. Not yet. Another wave of turbulence hit, sharper this time. Drink cups rattled. Overhead bins shook. A baby 2 rows back cried out. Amara squeezed Cinnamon so tightly her knuckles turned white. Suddenly, the plane lurched downward for half a second, and in that tiny moment of fear, Amara curled forward instinctively, her knees drawing toward her chest. Her foot brushed, barely brushed, the side edge of Deborah's seat. A normal person would have understood. A decent person wouldn't have reacted. But Deborah was neither. She exploded. She twisted in her seat, raised her foot, and kicked Amara, hard, directly in the stomach. Amara gasped, a small, sharp, wounded sound. Her teddy bear fell to the floor. Lauren froze. For one fraction of a second, Just one. She could not comprehend what she saw. Then everything in her snapped. Lauren screaming, "You kicked my child." Chaos erupted. Amara curled over, crying silently, holding her stomach. Lauren surged from her seat so fast her seatbelt buckle smacked the armrest. Deborah tried to look innocent. "Deborah, she kicked me first. I was defending myself." A lie so outrageous it stunned everyone who heard it. Lauren pointed a shaking finger at her. "Lauren, she is 6 years old." Passengers raised their voices. Gasps, shouts, disbelief. Someone yelled, "I saw it. She kicked that little girl." Another voice, "Is she insane?" Elise, the flight attendant, rushed over. "Elise, what happened?" Lauren's voice broke as she tried to explain. "Lauren, she kicked my daughter hard." Deborah lifted her chin smugly. "Deborah, your child assaulted me. I was reacting." Elise blinked, utterly bewildered. "Elise, ma'am, passengers reported you attacked the child." Deborah sneered. "Deborah, what? You're going to believe them over me." Lauren stepped closer, calm, but shaking. "Lauren, yes, because you hurt my baby, and I won't let you lie your way out of it." For the first time, people stood up. A man in row 18 leaned forward. "Man, I saw the whole thing. The child wasn't even touching her." A woman across the aisle added, "Woman, that woman kicked that girl with full force." Another passenger, "She targeted them from the moment they sat down." Elise's face hardened. She pressed her intercom. "Elise, Captain, we have a serious passenger assault. We need the air marshal." She didn't even finish the sentence because someone else stepped forward. A man in a navy polo shirt, who had been quietly observing the argument, rose from seat 19C. He reached into his pocket and displayed a badge. "Air Marshal Grant Lopez." "Air Marshal Lopez, nobody move. I need statements right now." Deborah's face drained of color. Lauren exhaled shakily, relief and anger mixing at once. The entire plane watched as the air marshal approached their row with a measured, controlled stride. Grant knelt beside Amara first. "Grant, gentle sweetheart. Did that woman hurt you?" Amara nodded, tears falling. Lauren wiped them quickly. "Lauren, she kicked her, without provocation. I swear she." Grant raised a hand softly. "Grant, ma'am, I believe you. And so do half the witnesses on this plane." He turned to Deborah, his voice darkened. "Grant, stand up, keep your hands visible." Deborah sputtered. "Deborah, are you serious? I'm the victim here." Grant's expression didn't change. "Grant, you assaulted a minor. That is a federal crime. Stand up." The plane went silent. Deborah stood slowly, reluctantly, face twisted with fury. Passengers watched as Grant cuffed her hands with zip restraints. "Deborah, this is ridiculous. I was attacked. That brat was kicking me." Grant's voice dropped to a cold monotone. "Grant, ma'am, you kicked a 6-year-old child." Multiple passengers witnessed it. Deborah screamed one final insult, a slur dripping with venom, that sealed her fate. Grant pressed his radio. "Grant, Captain, we need immediate diversion. Nearest airport." "Captain over intercom. Copy that. Diverting now." Lauren held Amara close, whispering soothingly as the plane banked. As the plane flew toward Nashville for an emergency landing, Grant took statements from anyone willing to speak. Nearly the entire cabin lined up. Elise documented everything. Passengers offered video recordings. One man had captured the moment of impact. Lauren didn't want to watch it, but she was grateful it existed. Deborah sat restrained in the galley, hurling insults no one listened to anymore. The cabin atmosphere shifted from fear to solidarity. People brought coloring books for Amara. A woman gave her headphones with soft music. A teenager offered his hoodie so she'd feel warm. Lauren kept whispering, "Lauren, you're okay. Mummy's here. Mummy's got you." Amara clung to her, trembling. As soon as the plane touched down, paramedics rushed in. A medic knelt by Amara, examining her abdomen. "Medic, we need to take her to the hospital to check for internal bruising." Lauren gathered their bags with shaking hands. Grant approached. "Grant, I'll escort you both to the ambulance." Lauren swallowed tears. "Lauren, thank you for everything." Grant shook his head. "Grant, no child deserves what happened on that plane, and I won't let someone use prejudice as an excuse for violence." Officers boarded through the rear door and escorted Deborah off, screaming, kicking, still insisting she was the victim, but no one believed her anymore. At the hospital, doctors confirmed soft tissue bruising, red abdominal marks, no internal bleeding. Thankfully elevated stress response. Lauren held her daughter the entire time, tears soaking her blazer. Police took her full statement. Grant visited briefly. Grant, ma'am, she face assault charges, and possibly hate crime enhancements. The evidence is strong. Lauren nodded. Lauren, I just want my daughter to feel safe again. Grant smiled gently. Grant, she will, because she has a mother who fought for her, and because today, a plane full of people finally did the right thing. Amara healed, physically, at least. Her nightmares faded slowly. Lauren enrolled her in a support group for kids dealing with trauma. Lauren, she chose a new teddy bear, but kept Cinnamon too. One sunny afternoon, she and Lauren sat at a cafe. Grant arrived, smiling warmly. Amara lit up. Amara, hi, Mr. Grant. Grant, well, hey there, brave girl. How's your tummy? Amara, it's better. Mommy says I'm the strongest kid ever. Grant looked at Lauren. Grant, she's right. Lauren exhaled, her voice soft. Lauren, I didn't get to thank you properly. Grant, you thanked me the moment you stood up for her. Most parents would have frozen. You didn't. Lauren hesitated. Lauren, do you think she'll forget it? Grant leaned in. Grant, she won't forget it. But she learned something from it, something powerful. Amara tilted her head. Amara, what'll I learn? Grant smiled. Grant, that sometimes bad people do bad things, but there are always good people who stand up, protect you, and prove that hate doesn't win. Amara nodded slowly, absorbing it. And Lauren felt, for the first time since that terrifying flight, peace. Racism doesn't always look like shouting or slurs. Sometimes it begins with a glare, a complaint, or a lie. But when that prejudice turns into violence, especially against a child, silence becomes complicity. On that plane, one woman chose cruelty, but dozens chose truth. One mother chose courage, and one little girl chose to keep smiling through her fear. Justice doesn't erase trauma, but it shows the world that the vulnerable are not alone. If stories like this matter to you, stories that expose injustice and highlight the people who stand against it, consider supporting the channel. Until next time, stay aware, stay compassionate, and never stay silent in the face of cruelty.